but for at least 60 seconds they had stolen the valet. There are a couple of stories that I've heard about other valet companies here locally in Atlanta. One happened at the local mall where a gentleman pulled in a BMW 7 Series. It was brand new at the time. And the valet gave him a ticket. The person went inside. I'm not sure if the criminal was watching, but what the criminal did was run after the customer through the mall. I don't know how that customer was dressed and said, "Excuse me, sir, we gave you the wrong ticket. That's not your ticket. This is your ticket." So he must have given him a dead ticket or a false ticket or some type of ticket, but now the criminal has the real ticket. So the criminal went outside, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, changed his outfit, whatever the case was, handed it to the valet. The valet brought up a brand new car. The criminal got in the car and drove away. The customer comes outside probably about an hour later, said, "Here's my ticket." And it took them a long time to figure out. They had to look at the video cameras to show that the car had left earlier. But it was the customer's fault entirely for giving his ticket up to a person that wasn't a true uniformed valet. Now, this criminal was found 3 days later at a DUI checkpoint still driving the car. And he got arrested and the customer got their car back. The second story I heard, and this is another company here in Atlanta, this was a paid parking lot. So the customers had to pay to park the cars. I always tell my valets, please be careful. Do not pull out a wad of cash. Just have a pocket for change, another pocket for the primary dollars. Then after a while, do a money drop so you don't have a large amount of money on it. This one particular valet, I heard from the building manager once they brought us in to interview, had over $400 or $500 on him. So when the person asked for change, he pulls out a wad of money, and when they saw that, they grabbed the valet. So they essentially stole the valet. So the valet was in the car. They wrestled the money. The car, I think it was a Suburban or Tahoe or something, left out of the circular roundabout onto the street, down the block, made a right, going towards the freeway. And by that time, they had wrestled the money out and threw the valet out the car. But for at least 60 seconds, they had stolen the valet. So the reason why I found out this information, this particular building called us in for an interview. They wanted to interview new valet companies to replace this company. This unfortunately wasn't the first problem this company had, but they were interviewing new companies to come on board. But honestly, with stories like that concerns me as an owner because I don't want to put my guys in a situation like that. It's gotten to a point where our company, where we've actually gone down in size on purpose and tried to keep just our profitable accounts. We were concerned about before having the most accounts and all this, but as you can see with these stories, that creates more problems. And even though I love sharing these stories, I like my sleep at night too. So a lot of times I try to control this and say, you know what, I'm just going to keep my top 10 or 20 accounts and then everybody else can have the rest. And this is a story, it's not our company, but we like to work together so we know what's going on. So a lot of the valet companies will actually come together maybe once a year and kind of talk over their problems, and so we can kind of learn and kind of prevent things from happening to us in the future. So this one case actually became an international story. Of course, the valet left the box unattended, which I don't lock. We're constantly telling these valets, make sure these boxes are locked each and every time. This was earlier on a brunch on a Sunday where they did not lock the box, and someone came in and stole 2 keys, an Audi and a Mercedes. They stole both the cars. The Mercedes was a particular one because this guy's father had passed away 1 week earlier in an auto accident, and his ashes were in the car. So we can't believe that. You can't even, how do you deal with that? Of course we can replace the car, but we can't replace your father. So it was all over the media trying to just get the ashes back. They didn't even care about the car because they wanted to spread the ashes out the very next day with his family. I believe the insurance company paid for the car, and then they had to pay compensatory damages for the loss of his father, which was never retrieved. This one place, it was a restaurant, and the valet was driving an Audi A4. And the customer came in, again, not our company, pulled in. The valet put the brake up. Another valet gets into the car, puts the brake down, puts the car in neutral, starts the car, but the key's not in it. But the car is already in motion. It's starting to roll down, and it ends up hitting the wall of an opposing building. When it hit the wall, it ended up taking out the internet for the entire building because that's where it was housed, right behind that wall. The Audi airbags blew. The valet gets out the car. He has powder all over him. And even though the car was totaled, I think it hit at almost 20 miles per hour coming down this long sloping hill. The compensatory damages for the loss of use for business for that day, and I think the next day, was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, inside this building were lawyers' offices.